Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
I believe my wife of 10 years has been cheating on me with her boss. Am I delusional in my suspicion? We will be celebrating our 7th wedding anniversary in less than 2 weeks with my wife, 36F, and myself, 34M. We've been together for more than 10 years and have had no history of fights, separations, or anything like that. Laughter, family vacations, expanding enterprises, yard improvements, 2 adorable little sons. It's been a wonderful year for me. The following is an overview of the situation. 1. The first strange night after starting a new job and meeting a new supervisor. Last year, my wife went on an interview at a highly regarded long-term care facility, and the gentleman who is now her supervisor offered her a job in a senior management role as a result. Since starting her new work, she has spoken extremely highly of this man, praising his emphasis on family, his achievements, and most importantly, his confidence in her potential to thrive at the firm. Let's fast forward a few months, and there I am, very suspicious of certain recent activities that have been out of character for me. However, despite the fact that this new position brings in some out-of-office events, golf, fundraisers, and so on, some of the material simply smelled. I wasn't suspicious of anything in particular at the moment, but my intuition began to warn me that something or someone was not quite right. After a golf tournament or something, one night in early June, I found myself pacing the house, terrified that something had happened to my wife while she was out for drinks and supper with the coworkers. She said that she will be back home in an hour at one point. That followed by another hour, followed by a third hour. She and I both have iPhones, and we both exchange our whereabouts. Why? Because we had 2 young children, and we decided it couldn't harm to be aware of each other's movements. And her position remained in the same spot, on the side of a major road, nowhere near where she said she was heading, as she had stated. Her phone continued ringing and went straight to voicemail. I was concerned that she had been involved in an accident. Last but not least, just as she is about to contact the cops, she phones to tell me that she is on her way home. Upon seeing my frightened expression, she explains that her phone had died and that she was in a co-vehicle, workers which did not have a charger. Weird. That has never occurred in the history of the world. She has never, ever gone out late and failed to notify me of her whereabouts. I ascribe it to the fact that she was starting a new job with new coworkers, as well as her attempts to integrate herself into the social scene in her new capacity. For the most part, her tale did match up to what she said. In fact, the route where she was last seen prior to the location of the dead phone being given ended up being on their way to the restaurant they were meant to be at. Nonetheless, this kind of disjointed conduct has never occurred before with her. It looked completely out of place. Several months later, my wife has become obsessed with her workouts, weight, and the desire to have a larger upper chest. Her morning routine in the bathroom is becoming increasingly time-consuming. It's important to remember that my wife is significantly more fit than the ordinary gym goer. She doesn't have anything to be concerned about. She's very stunning. 2. Getting to meet him, as well as finding the odd, tucked-away parking lot. A day arrived in early August when she brought her boss and a few coworkers over to my place for a few afternoon cocktails after a race they had all participated in as a group. I smiled to myself, thinking, I'm finally getting to meet this fantastic boss that everyone raves about. When they came, everything struck me like a ton of bricks. This gentleman, despite the fact that he is much older than me, is attractive for his age. He is over 60, but he is also terribly uncomfortable. At no point did he look me in the eyes, and his hand was very wet when I shook it after shaking it twice. That's when my intuition shouted once again, this time directing my suspicions at him once more. He didn't stick around for long, and he didn't say anything to my wife. He didn't say anything to anybody, except then asking me what high school I attended to while gazing in a different way. He essentially simply drank a drink and walked away. Following that, the final coworker to remain ends up inviting his girlfriend and her daughter over to his place of employment. In the aftermath of a few beers, my wife was extremely persuasive in encouraging them to come over for an impromptu dinner party. All of this transpired, and this gentleman and his female companion departed at 8 p.m. This is the time at which everything begins to become more focused. My wife had mentioned to me many times in the days preceding up to this morning's race with her coworkers that she planned to go out for drinks with a friend later that night to celebrate a birthday. She had been torn about whether or not she should go, but when her colleague departed for the day, she made the decision that she would indeed go. She walked upstairs, put on her makeup, and came down looking absolutely stunning. When she kissed me goodbye, she headed for an East Side tavern on the outskirts of town. Her overall attitude was really odd, and I had to inquire as to whether she was fit to drive. Yes, but I only had 2 during the day, she said. I'm not planning on staying out too late. I'm not sure, but I believe she may have even urged me to stay up late to wait for her if I recall correctly. I put on a movie or anything to unwind and just relax. I felt it was strange that she hadn't contacted me to let me know she had arrived after less than an hour, and I believe she should have. Here comes the venerable Apple Store site. I looked up her whereabouts to make sure she had made it safely, and to my complete surprise, her location was shown as being at work. Her office is really in a building that is hidden away across the street from her main building, which is where she works. One that I am aware she has never reported having worked in before. It took some time to find out precisely where we were, but there was no doubt about where we were. What I was thinking was, did she turn around? Is she attempting to make a phone call? What is she doing in that place? What was it about her employer that made me so suspicious this morning? What made her decide to go back out into the world? That's not how she normally behaves. What is her purpose in being there? There is no logical explanation why she would have traveled west and parked at her place of employment. She said that she would be meeting a group of people for drinks on the east side of town who are in no way linked to any of her employees. She returns home not long after, greeting me on the sofa with an uncomfortable over-smile. She had just been gone for an hour at the most max. Despite my best efforts, I am still baffled as to what is going on. She never ceases to tell me how much she loves me. She climbs on top of me, and we had a good time. After that, for a single second, I considered if it was conceivable that she had just left with someone else, and that it had been less than 10 minutes. Not in a million years. I persuade myself that she was acting strangely and had pulled into the parking lot to make a phone call or something. Dumb, I am aware. 3. The introduction of the children's new acquaintance. Things seem to be okay during the next few weeks and into July, and I have managed to push #2 to the back of my mind. Our boys have been attending summer camp on the campus where she works, which has been a pleasant surprise. Some pressing circumstances at her job necessitated her calling me to pick up the kids, or she would enlist the help of her coworkers, guess who, to look after them for a few minutes. I found out how many times this supervisor of hers had my children in his office, feeding them food and allowing them to play on his computer, which I found out about afterwards. They became acquainted with him. She expressed her gratitude for the assistance she had received from the new team. 4. The residents. We're taking a week off to spend time with my wife's relatives at the beach. My family and I spent every day at the beach, and my wife and I also took the kids on bike rides around the neighborhood. It was really rather excellent. We both returned to a busy work week, which begins with my wife asking if I might pick up the kids in the middle of the week so that she could go out with her coworkers for dinner. I was a little taken aback by this, since it was our oldest son's first day of kindergarten, and we had just returned from a vacation when this happened. I felt it was strange that she would choose a business outing above spending time with her kid following his first day of school. She said that one of her female employees was going through a difficult divorce, and that she wanted to plan a little golf excursion followed by supper and drinks so that they could watch the first preseason football game. This plan also involved her female coworker staying in a hotel, since she lived a long distance away during the week we were at the beach, which I thought was strange. Because of the difficult circumstances she was under, my wife expressed an interest in meeting up with her there before golf. I believe this is unusual, but I'm keeping my opinions to myself about it. I agree to pick up our children so that she may do this task. Keep in mind that I pick up my children from an after-school program that is located at my wife's place of work. I don't mind picking them up, but this seemed a bit unusual given that they are at her place of employment, and just a few minutes away from our home. My place of employment is 40 minutes away, so it was a bit difficult, especially considering that I would have to leave work early to pick up the kids on our first day back. The day has finally arrived. We photograph my son's first day of kindergarten in the morning before he leaves for school. Together. She's hurrying because she doesn't want to be late for work, so she and I bring him down the stairs together. I've recorded a video of this on my phone for you. We have been talking about this day since the end of preschool and have continued to do so during the summer. It's finally here, and my wife is acting strangely, not like herself. She is generally really enthusiastic about things like this. We witness him go inside his class, and I am hardly able to keep up with my wife on the walk back to our home after seeing him enter. She is typically like this, but I was concerned that she might take objection to her son's first day at school. When we returned, she was already in her vehicle, driving to work, and seemed to be in a frenzied state. Later in the day, I barely managed to get out of my office in time to make the 45-minute journey to pick up the kids from their school. There is a construction zone on a temporary road that is closed. Then there's the unusually heavy traffic on the interstate. I'm running behind schedule. Everything is conspiring against me. As I wait in traffic, my thoughts begin to run through my head. This doesn't make any sense. Why would she want me to pick up the kids? It was the first day of school for our oldest child. What is her reason for being absent tonight? Isn't it true that she wants to see him and be with him? I'm panicking since it's also our boy's first day at the after-school program, and I know I'm going to be late if I don't get there right away. I dial my wife's phone number. She doesn't say anything. She is aware that I am picking up the children. Why would she disregard my call? We're all in this together, after all. Wait a minute, she's checking into a hotel before playing golf. WTF? Is it possible that I'm being stupid? Yes, it does seem to be that way. There isn't anything going on. I'm experiencing some strange sensations. I take out my phone once again in traffic, loathing what's become of me and this location thing that I'm in. Her location, a hotel in the city where she works and where we live, which is farther away from the golf course than one would anticipate. God, there is no way that she is there with her employer, I say. It's impossible. If she is, I'm sure they are all there, and they are probably in the bar getting drinks. But why are they at a hotel? I dial the aftercare hotline because I can't get in touch with my wife, who is presently staying at a hotel with a female coworker, according to the operator. The after-school supervisor assures parents that there is no need to be concerned. The children will be fine. Simply take your time and arrive as soon as you are able. I'm getting closer and closer to exiting the freeway and heading in the direction of my wife's place of employment, where the aftercare program is. As it happens, my GPS shows me exiting the highway right near the on-ramp by the hotel she is at. As I continue to close the ramp, I am 10 minutes late for picking up my children, and I am foolishly keeping track of my wife's whereabouts while driving. I am considering whether or not I have the courage to simply be 5 more minutes late, jump off the highway to the hotel, and confirm my concerns. Her location is shifting, and she is preparing to go. As luck would have it, she drives by the other direction as I am exiting the interstate to pick up our children. Due to a 25% probability of traffic delays 45 minutes away, the specific hotel, and the path my GPS puts me on to go to our children. Despite my excitement at the prospect of catching anything, I cannot locate her vehicle or the vehicle that her employer drives. Remember, he has come to my place and has seen me before. I'm making every effort not to deviate off the roadway at this point. Oh my, I didn't realize I'd missed it. She walked straight by me. If this is true, I'm going to need God's aid. It's enough to make my heart race just thinking about it. She's been locked in a room for at least an hour. Denial and guilt begin to take hold. I feel awful for tracking her, but try to justify it in my mind through the horrible feeling inside of me. What is happening to me? I picked the kids up 10 minutes late, still frazzled as to why my wife wouldn't answer, but in absolute terror at the fact there's now a chance this could be happening. She still hadn't called me back. My kids feel so dependent on my hands, and I am terrified for them. I finally hear from her after the kids and I are home eating. I think I sent her a picture of all of us hanging out with our shirts off. Her response, "Gosh, I love you guys." Before bed, the kids and I FaceTime her, which is not something we typically do. I was kind of thinking I should so she can avoid showing me who she's with. She answers, and they are at a bar, but her boss isn't there it seems. Phew, maybe she was at the hotel with her female coworker. Then one of my kids asks, "Where is the guy that gives them snacks when they visit the office?" The camera pans, and there he is, grinning, waving at my kids. We say goodnight, and I put the kids down. She finally comes home an hour or so later. She is so thankful that I was able to get the kids, take care of them, make them dinner, put them down, etc. She tells me how much she loves me, and we have some really good sex. I feel so messed up. I feel violated. 5. The smoking gun. 3 days later, my wife and I are waking up in bed on a Sunday morning. We have plans to take the kids hiking for the day. My wife immediately rolls over to her phone, but I don't think anything of it. She quickly gets out of the house for her routine early morning run. I walk downstairs and turn on her iPad, which just so happens to be one of the devices we share for music. Coincidentally, an update ran the night before, but I don't know if this has anything to do with what's next. As I am opening Apple Music to put some early morning tunes on, a text message notification pops up. I had not seen this on this iPad before. It was an emoji-filled message from her boss reading something like, "Good morning, B. It's a beautiful day for a run." I tap it without thinking. It opens up a subsequent message revealing that my wife texted him as soon as she woke up. I panicked and deleted the message. WTF was I thinking? Either way, I now see the smoking gun, and fear, distrust, disgust, and violation set in. My wife returns from her run, and I am angry, but I don't yell. I repeat his text message to her in my own words. She is confused and weirded out. I take her hand and walk her into our dining room, sit her down, and put my eyes 6 inches from hers. Me: "What is going on with you and your boss?" Her: "What?" I: "Nothing. He's my boss. He's almost 60 years old. She looks like she's seen a ghost." Me: "We have 2 beautiful boys in the other room. What are you doing?" I explain the text messages. Her: "Nothing, I swear. B is just something we all call each other, and he and I are in a friendly Apple Watch competition. I told him I was going to run. I swear nothing is going on." I walk away. I am thinking that I shouldn't have said anything. I should have held it together. Let the text messages keep rolling in, and got my confirmation from something that won't lie to me. But I don't want to keep spying and sneaking. I am desperate for her to just come clean. We awkwardly drive to our hike. She's weird the whole way, obviously. We finish a pretty long, quiet hike with the kids. They pass out on the ride back, and I bring the morning text message up to her again. I tell her that it is killing me, and the fact that someone texted her first thing on a Sunday morning tells me what's on my mind. She immediately agrees how bad it appears, obviously having thought about it the whole day. She isn't denying that. She does deny that anything is going on, however. Meanwhile, the hotel in #4 is still burning a hole in the side of my skull. Later that night, we talk about the text message again over a bottle of wine. I thought it might bring more out. No luck, just more denial and reassurance of no wrongdoing. That's all I have at the moment. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I should go from here. I will update you all soon enough. What do you think about all of this? What do you think OP should do? Do you want to see the update of this story? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel to see the update of this story. Hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an upload.